Back, Will Worsham joins us now for this week's Speaking Legal Discussion. First of all, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Will.
You're back in country.
Back in country.
Speaking of, speak some Chinese for us, will you?
对不起，我的中文非常不好。
I agree totally.
What did you say?
I said I'm sorry, my Chinese is really bad.
Well, we never.
It's 100% better than mine,
Can I just say this? Well, usually with all your legal jargon, it's Chinese to me every day. But anyway.
Was it a rewarding trip?
Yeah, it was a great trip. Had a lot of fun.
What'd you do?
Well, we went to the Great Wall. We
nice.
went to Forbidden City, Tiananmen Square. My wife and I actually ducked into the Chinese National Museum, and we'd never been there before.
Right.
And so we only had a little bit of time there, so we picked a particular exhibit. We went to the downstairs, which is where they've got the history, the artifacts, so the old artifacts and things
which
like
are
that.
really old.
Which are really old.
Yeah.
American history only goes back 300 or 400 years.
Yeah, we have rocks that are as
600
old
years
as a lot of
maybe.
their stuff.
Right. And you're talking about stuff that's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years old that they found over there.
Was the Great Wall just stunning? Did you
It is.
spend a lot of time there?
It's visually stunning. We actually this is the third time that I've been to the Great Wall of China, and it is. It's just you don't really know what to expect until you see it. But it's close to Beijing, but it's in the mountains, so you drive there. So you're driving and you're driving there, and the air gets a little cleaner and a little cleaner as you go that direction, and then you see it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there it is. It's over there on the mountains, and then you get closer and you get up there, and then you have to get to it once you get there. So, like this year, the place where we were at, we took like a ski lift up to where the wall was, and then you can get on. You can walk on it. But it's not flat. It's once again, it's in the mountains. They didn't have a lot of machinery, so sometimes you're going straight up.
It's an engineering wonder,
It is. It's fascinating to think that they actually built that when they built that by hand, essentially.
Hope to see it one day.
Well, glad you're back.
Yes,
thanks.
Welcome
Are you
back.
ready to
Welcome back.
ready to dive into things legal?
We'll see. It feels like about 6 a.m. to me.
Oh, you just got back, huh? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we have some bundt cake for you there. All right, here we go. Here's today's question. Taking care of my property has been on my mind. I've heard people say I need a will, but some say a trust. I'm not sure which is more appropriate. Can you tell me which I might need?
Well, you could need either one.
Okay.
Or maybe some different measures. It really depends on a lot of different factors, but probably the most important factor is kind of what stage of life we're in. Young folks like us, probably
whippersnappers like us.
You came back nicer, too.
Hey, how come you're the only one on the screen as you talk like that? Okay.
A will is probably going to get the job done in the short term, along with some non-probate transfer things like transfer on death, payable on death on accounts, transfer on death on titles, beneficiary deeds, some things like that. Because we're hoping not to have to use any of those things. It's a little bit different when we get maybe a little bit older and we're starting to think about how do I want to dispose of these assets once I pass away.
Right.
Again, the non-probate transfers can be effective, beneficiary deed, payable on death, transfer on death. But if we're talking about anything of any significance at all, a trust is really going to be the document that we're going to want to use to do that. A will is not preferred in that scenario because a will still has to go through probate court. And that's what we want to avoid, the time and expense it takes to have to put an estate through probate court, and a will does not avoid probate. A will just gives the judge instruction. Guidance. So the only way to do that is to not die with anything that has to go through probate court in your name. So we take anything that has a title, and instead of it being titled in your name, we title it in the name of your trust, which is a separate legal entity. And then that trust has a trustee, you while you're alive, beneficiaries, you while you're alive. But then once you pass away, there are successor beneficiaries and the successor trustee. And the trust has instructions to the successor trustee on how to distribute your assets.
Okay. It sounds like, with doing a trust, you're really starting to get into the nitty-gritty, the fine-tuning of how you want things dispersed and to whom, rather than just going, okay, this there, that's there.
Well, and a trust can be as detailed or as broad as you want it to be.
And you have total control in that.
You have a significant amount of control.
Never total, but yes.
Is one more expensive than the other?
A trust is going to be more expensive than a will is going to be. simply because it's a bigger document. It's going to require a little more work to get that done. But if you consider the cost of dying with an estate and not having a trust, it's so much cheaper. It's like anything else.
Yeah.
Whenever you plan ahead, whenever you do things in advance, it's way cheaper than trying to fix it on the backside.
Right.
So whether it's estate planning, starting a business, getting a speeding ticket, if you'll bring those things to us before they become a problem, ahead of time, then it's a lot easier and a lot cheaper than to deal with it later.
There's a sign like on the front of my house saying, if you take it away, you can keep it. It's yours. Does that work too?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
That's what I mean.
I suppose it could.
If you have a legal question for Will, you can email him at wworsham@color10.com, and he will answer your question on the show.
Say goodbye in
Always good to
Chinese.
see you.
Zaiqian.
There you
Okay,
have
up
it.
next, Kelly shows us how to make an easy holiday pillow, not for resting your head on, for the pin of the week. So stick around.
Warm up your rooms with hot prices at Slumberland's Thanksgiving sale. Get up to 64% off and pay no interest until 2021. Come together. Slumberland's Thanksgiving sale. Save on this sectional just $6.95. Slumberland, it's a good life.
Join the MSU Bears as they take on the Youngstown State Penguins at Plaster State.